What's good? What's good? What's good, fans? Thank you guys for tuning in. Man, I got a little technical difficulties right now, so I can't give you my weekly opening. Um, so I'm here. I'm here to get it right for you guys. Just let me send this message. I'm good, fans. What's good with you guys? Thank you guys for tuning in, fans. I got some exciting news to share with you guys, and hopefully, is being viewed properly through my new connection with Culture Flicks up here in the Northwest. So not only can you guys find the Voice of the Fans podcast on YouTube, Voice of the Fans at YouTube, you can find H&B Media TV, but you can also find it on Culture Flicks Television. There's different ways you guys can access Culture Flicks. You guys should be watching it now. And if you give me a second, I will have a couple QR codes for you guys to access using you could access it through Roku TV. You can watch it on your cell phone or your iPad through Apple. You can download the Culture Flicks app on Apple, the Apple app, and you can also download it on analog and Google Play on your Android. So there's a couple good things we got going for you guys just to expand the brand. And want to give a shout out to Bill Ellaby, give a shout out to Brion Corday. Thank you guys for being a part of the show. Yuri, I appreciate your help too. This is your man, Cameron Buford, Voice of the Fans. Shout out to everybody who's been a part of the show for so long, and we're just going to keep the things going. We got a lot to talk about today. We got a lot to talk about today. We got NFL trades going on. We got the NBA action. Appreciate those of you guys who have turned the sound down on ESPN to listen to me, and you can still see Victor Wembanyama because I'm missing Victor right now. I know he's about to turn it up right now. So appreciate you guys for tuning in to listen to me instead of watching Victor Wembanyama. But we're going to talk about a whole lot. We got NBA. We got John Morant. What the heck is up with John Morant? Is Memphis on the verge of trading him? Because he just doesn't look right there. You guys tell me, what the heck is going on with John Morant? Is he blowing his is John Morant blowing his payday? What was a couple years ago? This dude was going to be the face of the league, and then we all know what happens. But we're going to talk about that later on. But we got so much NFL stuff to talk about. We got the trades that kick. You guys want to talk about the trades, or you guys want to talk about the weekend in NFL? I think we should get into the trades right now. Because I'm up here in the Northwest, Rashad Shaheed gets traded from the Saints, who weren't busting it great for the last two seasons, to the Seattle Seahawks, they're the top three in the NFL, right, fans? Are the Seahawks the top three team in the NFL right now? If you say no, either you're a hater or you don't watch football. There's one of the two. And it pains me to say it. I'm not a Seahawks fan. So I don't get any great joy from saying the Seahawks are the number three in the NFL, not in the NFC, in the NFL. And they just added Shaheed. Come on. I didn't think they needed him. That tells me a couple things. Either they're not happy with the production that they're getting from Cooper Kupp, or they don't expect Cooper Kupp to come back. Because if they were happy with the production, Cooper Kupp, you don't go get another receiver. There's a logjam now at receiver. Jackson Smith-Njigba, Cooper Kupp, Horton, the rookie. Now they got Shaheed. All of these guys can get the ball. Shaheed was a number one for the last 3 years. He's the former all-pro receiver. JSN playing like an all-pro receiver. Cooper Kupp, we know he was the MVP of the Super Bowl. And you got Horton. Horton has a lot of people to learn from. Horton in the next 3 years. Horton's good today. But in the next 3 years, after he learns how to run routes, after he learns the nuances of the receiver position, oh, my goodness, this Seattle receiving core, this is a big, stark difference from the pedestrian receivers they went to the Super Bowl with. This is a big, stark difference from them. Even the receivers when they had DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. This is a tremendous upgrade from them. These guys, let's see them on the court, on the field. This is going to be, by the time the season's over, this is going to have to be the top 2 or 3 receiving cores in the NFL. It is that good. So the Seahawks got better to help Sam Darnold out, who's already playing good, but now Shaheed, who already played in the same offense last season when the offensive coordinator was down there in New Orleans, he plays in the same offense, so that's good for him. He doesn't need to relearn anything. So kudos to Shaheed, kudos to the Seahawks, kudos to Mike McDonald for getting it done on the defensive side of the ball, which is tremendous. That allows the offense to run the ball. That allows the Sam Darnold to get back there and throw the ball all over the field. The defense is allowing that and giving them more opportunities to get that done. Sauce Gardner getting traded to the Colts from the Jets. That's a reprieve for him. The Colts have been playing like they're number one in the AFC. And now they get Sauce Gardner, a lockdown defender, or who once was a lockdown defender. That's good. They get they sent Sauce from the Jets to the Colts. The Jets get a 26 first rounder, a 27 first rounder. That's awesome. What up, Barry? I need your info, Barry. I want you to come on the show, man. Tell the people where they can find you. Thank you for tuning in every week. One of our longtime listeners. Barry, I need your info, man. Hit me up at _voice of the fans on Twitter, at _voice of the fans on Twitter. Send me a message, man, so I can get your email address. Or you could put it up here. I'll just hide it. You can put it up there, Barry. I want you to be a part of the show. The Jets also sent Quentin Williams to the Cowboys for Mozzie Smith and 26 first round, 26 number 2, and a 27 first round pick. So they get more picks. They're doing a good job on picks, is what they do with these picks. That's also going to prove their worth. Logan Wilson actually goes from the Cincinnati Bengals to the Cowboys. Now, at first blush, you look at it and say, the Bengals? Or it's like me when the Dolphins drafted a cornerback from Baylor when Baylor averaged 42 points a game and giving up 42 points a game. And why would you draft anybody from that defense? Just like why would you trade for anybody on the defense of the Cincinnati Bengals when they give up the most points in the game? So let's see what Logan Wilson can do. If it's a different scenery, maybe gives them a different spark. I don't know. Let's see if that's the case, because I don't know why anybody would want anybody from the Cincinnati Bengals unless you're talking about Henderson, who actually did make plays. Jacoby Myers goes from the Raiders to the Jaguars. I'm not sure what kind of upgrade that is, but he goes from the Raiders to the Jaguars for the 26 fourth rounder and a 26 sixth rounder. Trevor Penning goes from the Saints to the Chargers. It's a good look for him. Anytime you get out of down south and you get to Southern California, that's a good look for a 2027 sixth rounder. Adonai Mitchell goes to the Jets, and they get a 26 first rounder, the Colts do, and a 27 first rounder. So the Colts kind of get their picks back, if you will. The Jalen Phillips go from the Miami Dolphins to the Eagles for a third rounder in the 2026 draft. They get the Eagles also get Jair Alexander from the Ravens, who goes for a sixth rounder and a seventh rounder. Now, I thought at one point Alexander was a high draft pick. Let me just confirm that real quick. And now he's going for a 6th and 7th round draft pick. What a drop off that has been. And are the Eagles aware of this drop off that they're getting? I'd imagine that they are, but my goodness, has this guy stock fallen? He is a 2-time Pro Bowler. He was drafted. Where was he drafted? He was a number 18 pick. The Green Bay Packers took him with the number 1 pick in the 2018 draft. So, 7 years ago? And now he gets traded for a 6th and 7th round pick. SB, you had it right. Nobody wanted him because he goes from Green Bay to the Ravens, and now to the Eagles. Let's see where he plays on the Eagles. The Eagles also got cornerback Michael Carter for a 6th and 7th round draft pick as well. Very curious. Also, fans. So that was big news. The trades, the movement in the NFL. A lot of people. The trade deadline obviously was Tuesday, so there was a lot of movement around, and want to see a lot of teams use this opportunity to upgrade or to sell off their parts. The Dolphins probably should have sold off more parts, but they did what they did, and we'll see how these impact the teams moving forward. A couple questions. I got to know we'll get to them in each game. I guess I go to them as they come up when I talk about their specific games. But I'm really concerned with a few things involving that guy Tua down south, and then that guy Kyler Murray in Arizona. Really got some questions about what's going on with this guy, and maybe you guys can help me out and answer these questions as they come aboard. But we had last week, the Dolphins obviously got beat by the Carolina Panthers, or excuse me. Well, they might get beat by them too, but they got beat by the Baltimore Ravens, who look like they're coming back. They got healthy against the Miami Dolphins. Which is a shame on them. Shame on the Dolphins for doing what they're doing. They fired the GM, but not the head coach. They probably both should have been let go. But you keep one and the other, and it's a scary thought that the head coach might be back again for another season. That's going to be ugly. But Baltimore Ravens lose to the Dolphins. That was on the Thursday Night Football. Lamar Jackson returned from a three-game absence, threw for 2 touchdowns. The Ravens defense held Miami to under 10 points for the third time. I don't know how much credit I should give the Ravens defense, but the Miami Dolphins have scored less than 10 points 3 different times this season. Is Bryce Young better than Tua Tagovailoa? Now, we know Tua came after Bryce, or Bryce came after Tua, but is Bryce Young better? Some people thought Bryce Young shouldn't be a professional quarterback in the NFL because I thought it was too small his first couple of years. I don't think he won 2 games in 20 games in his first year and a half. People were ready to write this kid off, but he's actually turning things around. They have 5 wins this season, which is impressive, very impressive. Not many people had that much confidence in him getting it done other than his family and his head coaches. So that's pretty impressive, Bryce. We're going to come back and talk about you right now. But, fans, I need somebody to tell me, is Bryce Young better than Tua Tagovailoa, or is Tua better than Bryce? I don't know. It's hand in hand right now. We had the Chicago Bears beat the Cincinnati Bengals. That game was a wild game. We had the Bengals, arguing. They're arguing with each other because Chase Brown went to, call the defense out because we gave him the ball with no time on the clock, and then the defense didn't finish the job. So it looks bad for everybody involved. But what you guys' thoughts on, should the defense be calling out the offense on the Bengals in that situation? Because that's exactly what they did. Chase, when they asked Chase about that, Chase says, "Nah, I don't want the defense coming and chewing me out, so I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm gonna stay in my lane." I think we should have heard from him though on what he felt about the defense not performing, just like we would hear from Joe Burrow about the defense not performing. This is 2 years in a row that the defense is getting up. They gave up 42 points, and they scored 42 points and lost. They gave up 47 points. There's something wrong there. Like that might need to be a coaching issue, because come on, coach, this can't keep happening every game, can it, coach? That you guys just score 38, 40 points and you lose? You guys need to be ashamed. Somebody's head need to roll. Because somebody's head need to roll. Yeah, they 47-42. So the Bengals again score 42 points and lose the game. And this is not the first time they've done that. They scored 42 this past week and lost. They scored 38 and lost. They scored 33 and beat the Steelers by 2 points. They've scored 31 points against Jacksonville and won that game. But the defense has given up 16, 27, 48, 28, 37, 27, 31, 39, and 47 points this season. That's over 100 points in 3 games. That is embarrassing. And they're going to bye. That is embarrassing. And yes, Chase, I'm with you. You should call them guys out. And Jamar Chase, you should call them out too. Don't be scared of those guys. Call them out if they're not doing right. Call them out if they're underperforming. Put the pressure on them. They need to perform, because bringing Caleb Williams to life is not a good thing for you guys. The Minnesota Vikings lost to the Detroit Lions last week. The Minnesota Vikings. Let me double check this here. The Minnesota Vikings. I mean, they're playing with a rookie quarterback. He came back. They beat the Lions last week, 27-24. That was a surprising upset. I had the Lions in that game. That's why I jumped out and said the Lions won. But to beat the Lions with a rookie quarterback who came back in his first game, McCarthy, they liked him. Everybody was unsure about McCarthy because he didn't play last season. He played only a couple games this year, got hurt, and been kind of in and out of the games. But they turn around and beat the Lions on your first game back. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Now they play the Ravens coming up this week. That's pretty impressive work by the rookie quarterback, J.J. McCarthy. So kudos to J.J. for finally getting it done. And kudos I think that's great coaching by Kevin McConnell. So you guys have heard me complain about coaching before, right? And I think not only having the intelligence during the game to make your changes and identify who's hot, who's not, and when to make your changes. But it's about taking a guy like Carson Wentz and winning some games with Carson Wentz. They've done this. Kevin McConnell showed that he can win with Dobbs, the rocket scientist. Obviously, he's a smart guy. But these guys have shown that they can win over and over and over. So kudos to Kevin McConnell for being one of the best coaches in the NFL. Also, in a surprising upset, we had the Carolina Panthers beat the Green Bay Packers, the Super Bowl bound Green Bay Packers, that is, 16-13. In this game, Tucker Kraft reportedly tore his ACL. I haven't got confirmation on that, or I personally haven't. Nobody called me, but the word is it was a pretty bad injury. He went out. Everybody took their pause. But Tucker Kraft going out, how bad did that hurt Jordan Love? Like, is Jordan Love still not comfortable with his fleet of receivers that he loses a tight end? He goes, belly up. That was an embarrassing loss to the Panthers, who came in the game 4-4. The Packers already had that. They had a couple bad losses. They had the 2 bad losses, and the one tie with the Cowboys at the start of the season. They got some growing to do. Now they're still headed. They're still leading their with an NFC North. They're still leading that group, but they're gonna have to play a lot better if they expect to make it to the NFC Conference Finals. They got a lot of improving to do because we're not seeing it right now. Another team dealing with injuries is the Los Angeles Chargers. They beat the Tennessee Titans 27-20, but in that same game, they lost Joe Alt. Having already lost their right tackle on Slater, losing Alt, man, they have some holes. So you heard me say earlier, they went to the Saints and picked up a lineman, but they have some holes, and Justin Herbert, man, they're putting the pressure on Justin Herbert, making him work really hard to get things done. And without a line, their running game is already. Hampton was already out on injured reserve. Now they're doing it running back by committee, and it's only nine weeks into the season. We still have 8 games to go, fans, and before we get to playoff action. And can they stay in contention with the depleted offensive line? They're 6-3 right now. They're in the playoff hunt, or they're already in the playoffs if it was to end today. But they got some improving to do. Talking about some improving to do. The Patriots, who are 7-2, looking very good. They beat the Atlanta Falcons 24-23 last week. But the Falcons need to be improving if they expect the young quarterback to do anything. The Falcons need to be improving as a whole and as a coaching staff. They need to recognize the talent that they have on the field, et cetera, et cetera. But what do you guys see out of Drake May? Is Drake May better than everybody anticipated? Wemby is a beast out here. Wemby is a beast out here. We all knew it, but I just see him swatting the house of 92 straight games with a block. 4th streak in NBA history. Impressive. Wemby's crazy, fans. Thank you guys once again for tuning into the Voice of the Fans podcast. The 49ers beat the Giants. Not a whole lot to talk about in that matchup there. The game I want to talk about is the Steelers beating the Colts. Now that was a surprise. Daniel Jones did he revert back to his old self? Because he had 5 turnovers that game. The Steelers defense recorded 3 sacks and a pick six. Excuse me. Daniel Jones, it felt like he regressed to the mean, if you will. The Las Vegas Raiders played the Jacksonville Jaguars. What happened in that game? Other than 30, the Jaguars won 30-29. That was in OT. That game went into overtime. So how they win by 1 point? Just curious. Little in that game, Little set a record for a 68-yard field goal. Curious how they go to overtime and the score ends 30-21. I'm trying to remember exactly what happened in that game. Because you don't kick your field goal. I don't recall what happened in that game. How to end in overtime 30-21, not 33-30. I don't remember off the top of my head. They caught the touchdown. Jaguars receiver caught the touchdown in OT, so you didn't have to kick the field goal. But it was kind of concerning. So that should be a 6-point game, not a 1-point game. Anyway, the Rams and New Orleans Saints. The Rams are a hell of a team. I think they're the best team in the NFC. I'm gonna show you what my thoughts on the NFC right now. But the Rams are the best team in the NFC. Buffalo Bills beat Kansas City, as I expected. It's a regular season. Not that KC didn't take it seriously, but the Bills are more serious about winning now today. I expect if they were to play in the playoff games or the championship game, the AFC championship game, I would then take the Kansas City Chiefs. But with it being regular season, no titles on the line, I expected Kansas City to win that game. And Josh Allen looked like a super quarterback. Josh Allen looks like everything is coming together. I wouldn't say that they're contenders, but they needed to win that game. But I would not say that makes the Buffalo Bills contenders. But Josh Allen, listen to these numbers though. 23 for 26, 88% completion percentage, 273 yards passing, 10 yards a pass, 1 touchdown. He only had 1 touchdown, but he had a 123 passer rating. Again, he was 23 for 26 in that game. Very impressive. What's even more impressive than that is Cooks averaged 4.2 yards a carry on 27 carries. He got 114 yards, which if he adds a running game to their dominant to the dominant play that they're getting out of Josh Allen, that does make them very formidable in the playoffs. In the playoffs, I would just take Kansas City to beat to beat them should they meet again. The Chargers beat the Titans, as I mentioned earlier. We talked about the Vikings, the Giants, the Colts, the Texans losing to the Broncos. The quarterback went down, so that was very foreseeable. Once Stroud went down with the concussion protocol or hit his head on the turf, he goes out. That was basically it there. And his chances went to the sideline. The Texans' chances went to the sideline and winning that game, just as he went to the sideline. So we had the Washington Commanders. Seattle traveled across the country to play the Commanders. Seahawks offense put up 38 points. Now, never mind that the Commanders allowed 30-plus points in 4 straight games. Let's talk about the way they were playing that game, and let's talk about how Sam Darnold is throwing that ball. Sam Darnold looks in rhythm. He missed 3 passes. He was 21 of 24 passes complete, 87% completion percentage, 330 yards passing, 13 yards pass, and 4 TDs. No regression. We're not seeing any regression from Sam Darnold. How long can this stay alive? How long can he stay afloat like this? We're gonna see. Because he's going to get a chance. Now he has even another deep threat. Is he going to keep putting the ball in the air? Well, I certainly hope so, because I just picked him up on my fantasy squad. So I certainly hope he keep passing like that. So great job out of Sam Darnold. And we had the Arizona Cardinals beat up on the Dallas Cowboys, who forced Jerry Jones to make some moves. But the crazy thing about that game, I think, was the headliner – is they started Jacoby Brissett in that game. Are they quietly benching Kyler Murray? Is he getting a quiet hook? Because they just put him on IR, as I understand. So he won't play for the next 4 games. But will we see him after a few games? Who knows, man? Who knows? Jacoby Brissett just plays on-time football. He's not a great quarterback. He just plays on time. And that's the reason he's been in the NFL so long, is because he simply plays on time. And, 1, 2, 3, pass the ball. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, throw the ball. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, throw the ball. Like, he's not holding the ball. He's not running around trying to create big plays. He's just playing consistent basketball that's right in line with the way the team want to play. So, does Kyler Murray get his job back? That's going to be very curious to see. Does Kyler Murray get his job back? Who knows? Last week, team, my pick percentage, I'm still at 60. I'm at 62%. I want to be around 70% for the season. So I got a few weeks to make that up, but I'm at 62 now, and I want to improve that. We're going to see how I can get that done. Last week, guys, I had I changed it already. I was trying to tell you who I had as the number 1 team, but I changed it already. I'll show you my picks when I show you my picks for this week. You guys can see who I have at the number 1 team in the NFL. Let me show you my picks right now. Share screen, Windows. There you go. Here we go, fans. Hopefully you guys can see this here. So here's my picks from this coming week. I got the Ravens. That should be the Ravens over, not Buffalo. That's the Ravens over the Dolphins. I got the Denver over the Raiders. I got Indy over the Falcons. I got Chicago. I got Chicago over. I got Chicago. I got Chicago beating the Giants. I got the Ravens in one of my games of the week. Got 4 games of the week actually this week. The Ravens and the Vikings, I think, is going to be a great game. I got Minnesota. I think their offense is more high-powered. Going against I think more of the Vikings defense than the Ravens defense is wild as that sounds. I think they're playing better. I'm going to Vikings and a rookie. He's not a rookie this year. He's a second. This is his second year. Going against Lamar Jackson in Minnesota, I got Minnesota pulling this game out. You guys can say what you want. You can. How do you guys see this game going? I got Minnesota pulling this game out. I think they're a much better team all around than the Ravens, and I think they're going to win this game at home. The Browns and the Jets. Ooh, what a toilet bowl game this is. I got Cleveland because I think the Jets just sold off a lot of their talent. So I got the Cleveland winning this game. The Patriots playing the Buccaneers. I got New England winning this game. The Buccaneers, this is going to be a good game. The Patriots 7-2. The Buccaneers aren't bad at 6-2. I just think the way Drake May is playing, the way Vrabel has his team playing, sound, connected football, complementary football, I should say. I think that we're going to see them in the playoffs, and they're certainly going to beat the Vikings or the Buccaneers this week. The Saints and the Panthers. I think the New Orleans Saints are gonna. New Orleans +5 in this game. I'm taking Carolina to win this game. Saints just lost their top receiver, lost one of their linemen. And they're starting a rookie quarterback. How are New Orleans favored by 5 in this game? I'm going Carolina in this game, going against the grain. Jaguar versus the Titans. Jaguars are favored by 1, or excuse me, the Texans, not the Titans. Jaguars versus the Texans. I'm going Houston in this game. So this is the third game I'm going against spread. I'm going to Houston in this game. Especially if the quarterback C.J. Stroud plays in this game. The 3-5 Cardinals take on the 6-2 Seahawks. Arizona -6.5. I'll take Seattle +6.5. Most definitely. In Seattle, most definitely. I'm doing that all day long. With Sam Darnold playing the way he is, he's playing better than Jacoby Brissett and or Kyler Murray. I'll take Seattle on the 6.5, certainly. The Rams and the Niners. This is one of my third games of the week. Obviously a division rival, obviously fighting for supremacy in this division. The Rams are tied with the Seahawks. The Niners are 1 game behind them. The Rams -4. I got the Rams winning this game. Also have the Commanders and the Lions. The Lions playing the Commanders. Lions taking their 5-3 record to 3-6 Commanders. Detroit by 9.5. Yes, with Marcus Mariota playing quarterback. Yep, I'm taking Detroit myself too. The Steelers playing the Chargers. This could have been a game of the week right here. The Steelers playing the Chargers. The 5-3 Steelers trying to keep their momentum, playing the 6-3 Chargers. They're trying to maintain their season, keep their season alive, though injuries have been a significant impact to their team. It's going to be a significant impact for them to keep Justin upright, keep him healthy and upright. It's going to be a significant impact, but I'll take the Chargers. I'll take the Chargers in this matchup. They're at home. Well, they're in Southern California. The Steelers are the one traveling, and they do travel. The Steelers travel, and their fans travel. So quietly, there was going to a game to cover the Chargers and the Steelers. This is when they were back in the Matchbox playing before SoFi Stadium opened up. For whatever reason, I get to the stadium late that day. I typically like to get to the stadium a few hours before game time and I don't have to deal with the crowd if I'm covering the game. I want to get there a few hours as early as I can, really. But I want to get there a few hours prior to game time. But for this particular evening, I got to the stadium late where the fans were already there. And if I didn't know no better, if I didn't know I drove to the game and it was 72 when I drove to the game, I easily walking from my car to the stadium. I would have thought I was in Pittsburgh if I didn't know any better, because there were so many more Pittsburgh Steelers fans out that day, so many more black and yellow jerseys than the Honolulu blue or the Chargers powder blue that they wear. There were so many more Steeler fans, and they're just watch what I'm telling you, fans. In this game, if you watch this game, listen to the cheers, listen to the chants when they first down. You're going to hear a lot more Steeler fans than Charger fans, and that's because they travel big time. Everybody want to go to SoCal because it's the destination place. Not only that, but the weather's good, and the Chargers have a tough time playing. I won't say they have a tough time playing at home, but they have a tough time playing all their fans coming out and supporting them, because a lot of Steelers travel, the Vikings travel big time, and the Green Bay Packers travel. Those are the top three markets of teams that travel. Seattle travels too, but those three teams, I can tell you, all of their fans travel big time, and it's like they set their travel vacations around the Packers, the Vikings, and the Steelers, because I guess there's little to do in those cities. On Monday, here's my fourth game of the week, fans. On Monday Night Football, the 6-2 Eagles play the 5-2-1 Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay took one on the chin last week. They don't want to do it again, but unfortunately, I think they're going to take another one on the chin to the Philadelphia Eagles. Excuse me. That was a huge game. That was a huge game that the Packers gave away last week, and we'll see if they can rebound. I don't know that they can rebound, but we'll see if they have what it takes to rebound. I got the points against the spread. I'm taking that should be the Ravens, not the Buffalo Bills, and they're 9.5. Indy minus 6.5. I'll take that all day against against Atlanta. Seattle minus 6. Seattle plus 6.5. Let me double check this, man. That just don't sound right. Seattle getting points. Seattle getting points against the Arizona Cardinals. That just don't sound right. Let me see what this is. Let me look this up, man. Let me just see their schedule once again. What's the point spread in this game? Seattle minus 6.5. So I will take Seattle minus 6.5. It's not Arizona minus 6.5. It's Seattle minus 6. Again, that just didn't sound right, fans. But I got it in there. You can see the change. This should be the Ravens BAL. I'll do that minus 9.5. So here you can see, fans. Here's my supremacy rankings for this week here. Let me pull this down so you can see it all. I got the Bills ahead of the AFC, the Colts, the Chiefs. The Chiefs are climbing. The Colts had a loss, but I think they're still right there. I got the Chargers, though they're injured. I got the Chargers right there as well. In the NFC, I got the Rams, the Seahawks, the Eagles, the Lions, and the Packers. The Packers, so despite their woes, they're still in the top 5 in the NFC. In the whole NFL, it's the Rams, the Seahawks, the Lions, the Bills, and the Colts. Do you guys see it differently? Does your supremacy rankings look different than mine? I think these are the top teams in the NFL, at least the top 2 teams, top 10 teams, AFC, NFC, and I give you 5 teams that I think these are the best 5 teams. The Rams with Sean McVay and Stafford doing what they're doing. The Seahawks, they're playing a complete all-around game. The Lions, the Bills, and the Colts. Seahawks are going to be hard to beat. When it comes down to it, the Seahawks will be hard to beat in the playoffs because of the style they play. It makes it real. It's going to make it real hard to beat those guys. So that's the NFL in a nutshell, fans. Now let's get into this NBA storylines, which let's start with this, fans. Let's give you guys an update. Steve Ballmer is now being sued from some of the parties that were part of the Aspiration company. Some of the investors that invested in Aspiration, what they're saying is that we invested in Aspiration because of the big whale like Steve Ballmer invested in Aspiration. Now, had we known that there was some nefarious stuff, we wouldn't have followed your Ballmer to that watering fountain. But because there was some nefarious stuff, now they feel like they can sue Ballmer. I don't know if that's quite right. I don't know if this is what's gonna become of this. But a couple things on the board. So you sue Steve Ballmer, right? Ballmer doesn't want to go to trial. You know that to begin with. You know he doesn't want any of this stuff to go to discovery. You know they don't want to do any investigations about any further investigation outside of what Pablo Torre has done. You know they don't really want to do this, right? To tell on themselves. So now with this lawsuit, if they don't settle with these guys, they're going to open it up for discovery. So that's a heady lawyer to say, okay, here's what we're going to go at Ballmer for. And either he's going to settle, because we know he doesn't want to go to discovery, or so his only situation is to settle out of court, right? And by settling out of court, by not going to discovery, if they went to discovery, they're doing the NBA's job, number one. Ballmer doesn't want to do that. Ballmer doesn't want to be exposed. So he doesn't want to fight this lawsuit. So he's going to have to come to some figure and settle with these guys who's suing him, which is a pretty interesting lawsuit. Like I say, from a heady lawyer who puts this Ballmer on the spot like this. I mean, Ballmer's going to – what do you guys think he's going to do? He doesn't want this stuff to be exposed as far as he knows. And so he's gonna kind of have to settle on this. So look for a settlement coming out of Steve Ballmer headlines. Ballmer settles with Aspiration employees, or Aspiration investors, should say. What is Ja's future in the NBA, fans? His pain and ass ratio is not matching his play, and is not meeting the value. Ja Morant was going to be the face of the NBA in a little town like Memphis. Now Ja Morant's career is in jeopardy. After 6 games into the season, he wants to tell the owners or tell the media, go ask the coach why he's not playing. Go ask the coach what they think about his lack of enthusiasm. Go ask the coach what they think about whether he's happy there or not. He mentioned he's lost his joy. Fans, what do you think is going to happen with Ja Morant? What do you guys think? Where does Memphis go? Does Memphis trade him? Does his new coach deal with this? How would Ja look at Houston for Reed Shepherd, and who are you going to give up? Tyree Eason and maybe a pick? Or do you send Van Vliet to, even though he's injured, do you send him to Memphis? How would Ja look in a Miami uniform? Who would you get for him? You probably get Tyler Hero. I guess at very least you get Hero. I personally, if they call and ask me for Jaime Jaquez for Ja Morant, I laugh at them. Not because Jaquez is better than Ja Morant today, but I think he's a better player in the future than Ja Morant will be. Does Minnesota make a move for – Minnesota could use a point guard. We see Minnesota is teetering on the brink of being a playing team. Wemby is so good, fans. Wemby is so good. Just chest bumps. Oh, that was Bronny. He just chest bumped and threw to the floor. He went over Bronny like that. Should I take that back, fans? Should I take that back? Because it was Bronny. I don't know. But how does Minnesota need a point guard? Could they use Ja and Anthony Edwards in the same backcourt? What about Brooklyn? I heard Trae Young for Ja straight up. Ja likes Atlanta, that I know. I don't know that he makes that team better. I don't know that he makes it better. New Orleans, do you send him for Ja? Do you make that move? Do you swap Ja for a problem child, Ja to New Orleans, Zion to Memphis? Did that do anything for you guys? Did that do anything for either team? Does that help Memphis out? Does that help New Orleans out? I don't know. I'm not sure about that. But I know one thing I am sure about: this problem that Ja's having off the court and with the coaches. If there were veterans on the sidelines, if there were veterans on the teams, they got away from having the paying veterans a vet minimum. They got away from that. But that vet minimums and those veterans, the old school players on the team would be able to talk and get to Ja and say, yo, cut some of this stuff out, young fella. Let's focus more on your game. There's no vets in the league. Ja's in the locker room doing all of this stuff, and there's nobody there to talk to him. Triple J is not what's he doing for him? He's not coaching him up. He's not consoling him where he should be. There's nobody who's on that Memphis team to pull Ja aside and say, Ja, let's straighten up. Let's focus. Let's get better. Let's be better at this. There's nobody on that team to do that for him. And that's the unintended consequences of not paying those veterans to be on the sideline and talk to your guys, coach them up, educate them a little bit. There's nobody on the sideline to do that. Therefore, we're seeing what happens when you have lack of guidance. Because I don't even think Ja's a top 10 point guard in the NBA. I don't think he is right now. And if you think he is, let me know. Because I'm about to run down a list of point guards and that explain that Ja is not a top 10 point guard in the NBA. You tell me if I'm right or wrong. Is Ja better than Luka? Is Ja better than De'Aaron Fox? Is Ja better than Jalen Brunson? Is Ja better than Cade Cunningham? Somebody hit me up in the chat if you think I'm going far too long. Is Ja better than Steph Curry? What about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? Is Ja better than Tyrese Maxey? What about Darius Garland? What about Halliburton? That's 10 players right there, 10 point guards. Is Ja better than Trae Young? I don't know, fans. You tell me. Let me know. Is Ja better than any of those guys I mentioned? Hell, I'll throw in Kyrie and Lonzo Ball. So that puts Ja at 13th, the 13th best point guard, if you agree with my list, in the NBA. Is that accurate, fans? Do you guys agree with that? Is he the 13th best point guard in the NBA? That's still better than half. You say he's a top half point guard. But is all that worth the squeeze? Is all this trouble being suspended twice last season, is that worth the squeeze for Ja? Or not last season, the season before? I don't know. Ja needs some coaching up from the vets on the team, from his pop. Well, his pops ain't coaching. His pops is going to hang out, telling him you got it. But Ja needs some better advice that he's getting. I don't think he's getting the best advice right now, or I don't think he's following any advice he's getting. Is Ja a top 10 point guard, fans? You guys let me know. Is Ja a top 10 point guard? Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with me. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't. Is Ja a top 10 point guard? The San Antonio, more topics I want to talk about. Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs are off to a historic start. They 5-0 and to start the season. First time in franchise history. Sophomore sensation Victor Wembanyama is leading the charge. Ja ranks as the second best player per possession in ESPN's wins above replacement. I think he's they're already elevated to true playoff contention. That has already been done. They'll probably finish the season 4 or 5 or 6, one in that realm. They're not going to be at the very top, but they're a playoff team, no doubt. Due to Victor Wembanyama's offense, defense, and all-around game. I mean, the kids is impressive, man. Again, fans, thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. The Spurs are playing the Lakers right now in the second quarter. But I just want to get on the air and tell you guys what I think about Ja or the NBA and how good I think Wemby is, getting them off to the start here. Wemby is a monster. Yeah, you got it right. There ain't no doubt about that. And he's only in his third year, fans. He got more to grow. And the whole thing about it is he wants to grow. He wants to grow. He wants to be better. You're going to see him back there. That's what he became a monk. He goes to hoop it up with Akeem, and we see the development immediately from this kid. Not only are the Spurs, they're deep at the guard position. Like, I don't know what they do with Ja. I don't know what they do with De'Aaron Fox, truthfully. I don't know what they do with De'Aaron Fox because I think De'Aaron Fox, I think he's excess for the Spurs because they're really good. They got good guards in Castle and Harper, and it's not like Fox can go play the 2 or the 3. Fox is studying the growth of these young players. I'd rather see these young players grow. I'd rather see these young players play and lead them to where they're going to go because Fox, he's just going to steal shots from these young guys. Western Conference, talk about teams who haven't lost. The Thunder haven't lost. The Warriors and the Lakers are trying to find their rhythm. We haven't seen a repeat champion in a long time because the NBA has a lot of parity, so we haven't seen repeat champions. But the Thunder look like they're able to become repeat champions without their second best player. They're without Jalen Williams, and they're still they were undefeated up until I think it was last night. Are they still undefeated? Somebody in the chat will let me know. What about the Eastern? The Philadelphia 76ers, the emergence of VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey, even Joel's playing, 10, 15 minutes a game. They're not giving you a lot of scoring, but he could be a big body. If you don't have to rely on Joel, maybe they end up being pretty dope. I think they'll be in the play-in tournament. Well, excuse me, hovering around the play-in tournament. The Boston Celtics are better than I anticipated. The kid Anthony Simons. Is he Jason Tatum? No. Can he do a lot of the things Jason Tatum did? Yes. I don't think they're going to turn over their whole program, their whole franchise to Anthony Simons. But giving them the ball and saying to help out Jalen Williams, I don't think is a bad thing. That's actually a good strategy from the GMs of the Boston Celtics. So bringing in Simons to help you with scoring, great play. And now you can make Simons an all-around player. Simons is going to get paid off this playing for Boston Celtics. He's going to get He's going to get a big payday. So kudos to the Celtics for bringing him in, and let's see how he actually emerges through the rest of the season. Austin Reeves, has he been on he's cooled off. I think he only had 21 points last game, but has he been on a heater or what? Without LeBron, without Luka, he has a fluorescent green light, is taking all the shots. His playmaking and scoring has sparked debates about his potential all-star appearance. If he keeps this up, he will finally make an all-star appearance. If he continues to do what he do, Joe, I know you hear me. If he continues to do what he's been doing, he's going to be an NBA All-Star this season. It's going to be hard for you guys to put Luka and LeBron in the All-Star game. because they haven't played. Well, I don't expect Luka to keep playing and not miss another game. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard because there's a lot of talent in the West. And Austin Reeves, we can't ignore it anymore. We can't just say he's coming in off the bench because he wasn't coming in off the bench. He's leading the games with a 50-pointer. I think he had a 41-pointer. Austin Reeves was balling. What do you guys think of Cooper Flagg? Is he Cooper Flagg all that you anticipated him being? Is he all that the Dallas Mavericks anticipated him being? You know, I think the reviews are mixed right now on Cooper Flagg. What do you personally think about Cooper Flagg? Put a 2 in the chat if you like Cooper Flagg. Put a 3 in the chat if you don't like Cooper Flagg. What do you guys see him doing? Is he earning the rookie, or excuse me, is he earning the number 1 draft pick? Is he earning that praise that comes with the number 1 draft pick of the NBA? Is he earning that? The times I'm watching him, he hasn't jumped out on the screen to me, but I'm not watching a whole lot of Dallas Mavericks. But you guys tell me, is he earning his spot there? Who knows? Giannis going off in Milwaukee. What do you guys think of Giannis? Is Giannis going to be asking for a trade here pretty soon? Is that what we're looking at? A trade from Giannis? A trade request out of Giannis? That'd be pretty interesting. Who do you guys have coming out of the Eastern Conference as the Eastern Conference final? I'm going to throw it out there to you guys. Who is your Eastern Conference finalist of this season? Do you have one? Is the Eastern Conference final? Is it going to be New York? Chicago's also playing pretty well. Is it going to be Miami with their new offense? Who do you guys have coming out of the Eastern Conference? I'm not so sure who I have coming out of the Eastern Conference. I want to say off the top of my head right now, without doing too much homework, off the top of my head, the 76ers is going to be right there. Is it going to be Milwaukee? It's not going to be Toronto. It's not going to be the Pacers, although the Pacers without Halliburton are still playing inspired basketball. They're still playing inspired basketball. So I can't give you an answer right now, but I think Houston's going to be at the top of the Western Conference. It's going to be Houston and OKC in the conference finals there. Some people put the Pacers at the top of the Eastern Conference. Is Halliburton going to be ready to get him there? Can New York finally get there to the Eastern Conference Championship? That's going to be curious. Where does Orlando fit in with their changes? Desmond Bane, we still have a long way to go, but Desmond Bane, is he going to be able to perform like for them and fill in that spot of shooting that they need? How good are they going to be? You got a lot of things happening within the league, so got a lot of things happening that can change the tide in the Eastern Conference. So we got to stay tuned. We got to stay tuned. You guys got to let me know what your thoughts are though. That would help me out. I'm trying to look. What other NBA topics you guys want to touch on? Not much more to say about the about Ballmer being sued, about the aspiration deal. Obviously, they're going to push that off way past the middle of the year, way past the All-Star game. What would you guys care to discuss? What would you guys care to discuss about the NBA? What do you want to know about the NBA? Let me see. Expectations. I mean, Giannis carry the Milwaukee Bucks to another Eastern Conference title? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure how that works for Giannis. If he wants to stay there, that helps him out. But I just don't know where that puts him. I don't know if he wants to stay there or if he wants to leave. I thought Giannis. I said this years ago. I thought Giannis was the type of guy who would stay there because they've been good to him and treated him well. But is that the situation? Does he owe that to him? No, he doesn't owe that to him. But will he work? And just looking at the standing, fans, Chicago is 6-1. Chicago Bulls. This is not 1996, fans. This is Chicago Bulls are 6-1. Wow. The Detroit Pistons, are 6-2. New York Knicks is 5-3. Cleveland Cavaliers 5-3. Milwaukee Bucks 5-3. So, will Chicago stay there all season 6-1? No, they're not going to be number one in the Eastern Conference for the full season. No, they're not. Detroit Pistons have a better chance of staying number 2 in the Eastern Conference than the Chicago Bulls have a chance of staying there. New York Knicks. I mean, we're expecting big things. This is New York and Cleveland's year. If New York and Cleveland can't get over the hump this year because the Eastern Conference is wide open, when will they ever do that? Milwaukee Bucks, though, are at 5-3. Philadelphia is at 5-3. So New York, Cleveland, Milwaukee, and Philadelphia, I believe in those 4 teams much more than Chicago and Detroit. Not that Chicago and Detroit aren't playing good basketball, but I believe in those in New York, Cleveland, Milwaukee, and Philadelphia getting to the playoffs. Philadelphia now because they have some youth. They have some Edgecombe helping them out. They still have the point guard for Duke who missed half the year last year. Maxey is doing his thing. Paul George has been kind of a failure there, but if they can get 15 and 10 out of Joel consistently, that changes the dynamic of that Philadelphia team. Milwaukee is playing on guts and guile from Giannis Antetokounmpo. As he goes, the Milwaukee Bucks will go. Cleveland, it comes down to Cleveland and New York. Does Cleveland and New York have the horses, the muscle, the knowledge, the know-how? They should be number 1 and 2, either order of the Eastern Conference. Does New York and Cleveland, in just looking at the roster, they need to be winning. They need to be winning the East. It's New York and Cleveland. If they don't win the Eastern Conference, it's shame on both of those guys. Shame on them both. If New York or Cleveland do not win the Eastern Conference, Chicago's not going to stay there. Detroit's not going to stay there. Milwaukee, they're 5 right now. I bet they finish 4 or 5 with the 76ers finishing right behind them, wherever they finish. Miami, Toronto, Atlanta, Boston, they're all filling out the roster. Or surprisingly, I mentioned Orlando earlier. Orlando is 3-5. There are the 11 seed. That is a one team in the Pacers. They're without Halliburton, so they're 1-7. That's, I won't say to be expected, but that's about what you should expect from losing the engine of their team. They should be, hovering around that mark. Unless the rest, Rick Carlisle can get the rest of these guys to step up, but at 1-7, I don't know if Halliburton can turn this around, even when the playoffs start. So I think I'm gonna go out on a limb and say New York and the Cleveland Cavaliers should be playing in Eastern Conference Finals, unless something spectacular happens. Minnesota is their youth; they just continue to improve. Those two teams, the Knicks and the Cavaliers, should be in the Eastern Conference Finals. I just think the Bulls and the Pistons are going to, come back down to reality. They're not going to be 85% winning percentage and 75% winning percentage all season. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And in the West, obviously, the West is a lot tougher. Let me see. Oklahoma City 8-0. San Antonio 5-1. The Lakers, look at the Lakers at 6-2. I don't expect that trend to continue. Houston 5-2. Denver 4-2, Golden State 5-3. Do you guys have Golden State in the playoff or in the play-in? I personally think they're going to be in the play-in tournament. Do you guys have them in the playoffs, or the playoffs is 1 through 6? 7 through 8 is 7 through 10 is in the play-in. Where do you guys have the Golden State Warriors finishing? Where do you guys have them finishing at? Minnesota's at 4-4. Clippers are at 3-4. Minnesota's 8. Clippers 9. Utah's at 3-5. Clippers got a lot of road to make up right now. If we expect this old team to kind of be somebody and make something of their season. But the way Wemby is playing right now, Oklahoma City 8-0, it's coming down. I wasn't ready to say this weeks ago. I didn't believe Wemby is going to change this. I didn't know who saw this the way he coming out this season. Nobody saw this. I don't think nobody in NBA saw this, but he came out balling. And I think the way he's been balling and what we've seen from him, he's able to carry this Spurs team to where they are. They're 5-1, and I don't see this like dying down just because it's May or June. The Spurs do have talent on their squad. They got young guys who are trying to grow, and I think they're going to be able to grow. I think they're going to get some good coaching and be able to turn this corner. That's what I think, fans. That's my NBA. That's the NBA topics I have for you guys. Let me do this for you. Let me do this for my guys. Okay, fans, I want to show you guys a couple things when I get started here. I got some QR codes. If you would get your cell phones, out. I got some QR code, fans, that should make this easier for you guys. Whether you have an Android or an Apple phone. Okay, let's do this, fans. Thank you guys again for tuning into the Voice of the Fans podcast. This is your man Cam. I record every week. You can find me. You can check out a lot of my work on voiceofthefans.org, my website, voiceofthefans.org. You can hear I record every Wednesday night, typically 7:00. You can hear my podcast. And I do have guests. NFL writer from Fox, an NFL writer from USA Today often comes on the show. Got my man in Canada come on and talk a lot of basketball. But this is now you can also follow me and hear the show on Culture Flicks TV. So here's your Apple. Download that QR code right there to get you to Culture Flicks app on your phone or your tablet. Culture Flicks right there. You can download and you can see this show probably air tomorrow on Culture Flicks TV. That's for Apple. This one is for your Android. So hopefully you guys have been able to get this. This is for downloading the Culture Flicks app on your cell phone so you can watch Culture Flicks. Culture Flicks that have a lot of movies from us. This is a Seattle-based application, so it's going to show you a lot of live Northwest-based programming, so you can tune into that and enjoy. That's meant for everybody to kind of enjoy, right? And then I also want to tell you guys about where we are here at the Great American Casino. They have free bonus play Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Friday, Saturday nights, it's 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Qualified players can receive up to $1,000 in free play. They have 2 winners every hour. Along with that, they have a spectacular happy hour menu that you guys can get a lot of. Obviously, it's happy hour, so you come down here and get some good food, have some decent drinks for happy hour. I'm here at 140 14040 Interurban Avenue South, 14040 Interurban Avenue South, Tukwila, Washington, 98168. Again, Great American Casino. Let them know you heard it from me, or I sent you here. You get some great happy hours, great happy hour drink specials and food specials. You can come watch the Seahawks game here. They watching all kind of basketball here. So they got TVs, watch football, basketball on Sundays. Anytime you want, come down here, 14040 Interurban Avenue South, Tukwila, Washington. That's where you can come on down and check out what they're doing here. And they got good food, again, fans, so it's worth the trip. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't, okay, just to be honest with you. I wouldn't be here if the food wasn't on par. Fans, one of the things I like to do is I like to give you This Week in History. This Week in History, talk about pretty much what happened in Black history back in the day, a lot of things that we forgot about. October 30th, 1831, Nat Turner is captured in Southampton County, Virginia, after leading the bloodiest slavery revolt in U.S. history in August. He would later be executed on November 11th. Nat Turner, for leading a slave revolt, he would later be executed, they said, on November 11th. That was back in history. November 1, 1787, African free schools opened in New York City. It was the first free school for Black children in America, founded by New York Manumission Society, and that was 1787. 1951, Jet Magazine is founded by J.H. Johnson, publisher of Ebony Magazine. It became the vital source of news and culture for Black Americans. So the Jet magazine, like, who didn't have the Jet model pinned up in their bedroom? Like, every week there'd be a new model. That's what a lot of you guys looked in that Jet for, I know. But that it was just a little magazine that gave you a lot of content. So it became a culture. It became a culture setter for Black Americans. The Jet magazine started in 1951. 1995, South Africa, had its first all-race local government election, making a major milestone in the dismantling of apartheid. And that was 1995. November 5th, 1966, the Black Panther Party was founded in Oakland, California by Huey Newton, Bobby Seale, originally named the Black Panther Party for self-defense. It was created to combat police brutality and advocate for Black empowerment. And it just kind of took on a life of its own, right? In 1974, Muhammad Ali defeats George Foreman in the famous Rumble in the Jungle in Zaire, reclaiming the heavyweight boxing title and solidifying his legacy. You know, that's when they had the Ali Boombaye. They went over there and had the whole country on their side, which was super dope, and not so good for George Foreman, who had all of Africa chanting against him in this fight. That was pretty slick by Muhammad Ali to kind of turn up the marketing. That was he was on marketing machine, and boy, he had the machine humming back in the day. Ali, everybody heard that term, Ali Boombaye, Ali Boombaye. So fans, the World Series, what do you guys think of the World Series? I didn't watch every game, watch a couple games. I watched the 18-inning game. I probably watched from inning 9 to 16 before I went to sleep, and then found out that it ended a couple innings later. But that was a great World Series. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, he pitched his butt off, fans. He was a hero. He pitched 2-2 scoreless innings on 0 days rest in Game 7. Will Smith obviously hit a clutch home run in the 11th inning, gave the Dodgers their first lead of the game. What I didn't see, I was talking to a friend about it today. Now, I didn't watch every game, to be honest with you guys. But again, Yamamoto won the World Series MVP, allowing just 2 runs over 17.2 innings with a 1.2 ERA and 14 strikeouts. Woof, that was deserving. But for those of you who were not rooting for the Dodgers, did you guys see in Game 6 the hit that bounced and got wedged under the wall there? That was a very interesting call. Because typically, if the ball hits the ground and bounces over the outfield wall, that's a what do you call it? A 2 base. That's obviously a ground rule double, right? But when the ball is hit and hits the ground, but barely it gets wedged under the padding on the wall, the center fielder threw his hands up, fans. I hadn't seen that before. I was watching the replay, so it's stuck in my mind. He threw his hands up and is like, I can't get the ball, then grabs the ball and throws it in. Meanwhile, 2 Blue Jays had rounded the bases and scored to tie the game up. The refs eventually called those runs back and sent the batter back to the plate. What do you guys think about that play? That was like, I saw that and I was like, oh, maybe some of these Blue Jay fans who were complaining about them not winning were accurate, because that was that call was kind of funky and kind of shady. It was kind of shady. I just don't know. But what do you baseball fans think? What do you guys think about that? Hit me up at _voice of the fans, at _voice of the fans on Twitter. Hit me up. Let me know your thoughts, fans. Let me know your thoughts. That's what I'm checking in for. So that Dodgers win back-to-back World Series, okay, which was cool. But that one play is curious. I'm concerned about that one play. In that World Series, the funny thing is here, I'm looking at it, says the Game 7 drew 25.5 million viewers, peaking at 31.5 million viewers, making it the most watched baseball game since 2017. So is that America? They can't combine America and Canada, because that's a shame of the Canadians, or that's a shame of Canada doesn't count for American viewership. So I'm curious as to what these 25.5 million viewers and 31 million viewers, what that denotes. Is that just all numbers combined, or is it just Fox numbers? I have to look into that. So I asked you guys a couple weeks ago, will you tune in to see Jake Paul fight Tank Davis? A lot of you guys laughed at the notion, but we're laughing at the notion now that fight was ever set up, because I think they were trying to get our pockets. But now the fight has been canceled, so we don't have to worry about that. The one fight you need to be concerned with is with Tyson and Mayweather. Who wants to see that fight? Anybody want to see that fight? I won't be watching that fight. That's for sure. We got Pitbull versus Lamont Roach on December 6th. Both of these guys gave Tank Davis his hardest fights, and so it would be a good watch for that reason alone. But what do you guys think about that? Fans, today I had the chance to hear from Sonia Ramon, the new Seattle Storm head coach. Jake Paul joke already? Yeah, he's a joke. Hey, bro, but he's a joke. I agree. I don't disagree with that. But he's making money, and if he fought Tank Davis, you had to be, if you're a combat sports fan, you were going to be glued to that bout, because you wanted to see real boxing fans want to see Jake lose. Combat fans want to see Tank Davis, if he could be the real boxer. That's what people want to see. That's what people wanted to tune in to see. So would Tank have done it? Who knows? Tank was a little small, but obviously we know Jake is going about strategically picking his opponents. So would Jake? He's not going to fight. Terrence Crawford don't want no part of that. Real boxers really don't want to consider Jake Paul a boxer anyway, in any right. So it's tough for him to get a legitimate boxer who's in their career, currently in their career, not retired, not too young. It's hard for him to get a legitimate boxer because legitimate boxers don't respect what Jake Paul is doing. But how nice would it be if he should fight Charlo? That's who he should fight. One of the Charlo brothers who haven't been in the ring in a few years. They probably, I don't want to say, I'm not going to say that. They haven't been in the ring in a few years. They can use that good publicity by beating the Jake Paul. He should fight one of the Charlo brothers. There you go, MVP. I just made up your next fight, MVP. Jake, I want my finder's fee too. Because I think that would, I personally know neither one of them are going to quit. If you're familiar with the Charlo brothers at all, though there is some nonsense that goes on with them, when they get in the ring, they're typically going to fight. Charlo, he walked around with Canelo, and Canelo didn't turn the pressure on Charlo. He didn't. I don't think, I'm just recalling that fight, I don't think he turned the pressure up on Charlo. And so I think a fight with a non-fighter like Jake Paul would give him a little bit more angst, a little bit more boost to want to fight and want to walk out of here. Because you lose to Canelo, not only are you paid, you lost to Canelo Alvarez, who's regarded as a top fighter in the world in any country. You lose to Jake Paul, you're going to be regarded as a laughingstock and a true boxer that lost to Jake Paul. So I don't know that a true boxer wants to have that on their resume. So one of the Charlos is either one of the Charlos, I think, would give it their all when fighting Jake Paul. Do you guys want to see that fight? I think that would be a decent fight. But for now, we get Pitbull and Roach coming up on December 6th. As I mentioned today, we had an opportunity to chop it up with the new Storm head coach, who seems she left MIT. She left her career in pre-med to become a head coach at MIT. Coached there for 12 years, took them to heights that they haven't seen before. Went and sat on the bench in Memphis behind Taylor Jenkins, and then was with Donatello up in New York with the Liberty the last couple seasons. So with that, she brings some experience. She brings some actual NBA experience. She brings her experience from coaching, winning a championship with the Liberty. She's bringing that to the Storm, and she says she wants to play an up-tempo game. She wants to use analytics to make sure her players kind of understand what their strengths and weaknesses are, and they use them to their best ability. She sounds like a head coach taking over a job, it'd be her second head coaching job, but taking over a new job and wants to make inroads with the local media. So we got a chance to interview her during the press conference, which you can see on Twitter. Go to Storm Twitter, or I'll be posting on my YouTube page later that interview I had with her, and then I'll write an article within the next day or so about what we discussed, and you can find that on voiceofthefans.org. But she comes in with some energy and some support. They're going to be supportive behind her. So I think it's a good thing. And I'll be eager to hear what you guys think of the new head coach of the Seattle Storm. And plus she's an Indian lady. There's been no coaches in the WNBA of Indian descent. So the Storm continue to push the envelope as far as being culturally aware, culturally relevant, and so good job out of them. Fans, a quote I have for you guys this week. I really personally like to give you this week in history, so we can a glance back at the times, and then I like to leave you guys with a quote that for inspiration, give you guys some more confidence in yourself. Some people don't need it, but some do. And I like this quote here. This is an unknown quote. Confidence is not they will like me. Confidence is I'll be fine if they don't. You guys understand the difference? Confidence is not they will like me. Confidence is I'll be fine if they don't. You're not begging for somebody to like you. You're going to go about your business and handle your business and carry yourself as if it doesn't matter who likes you or not, because you're focused. You have a tunnel vision on what you're achieving, your goals, and what you're trying to do. So nobody really needs to like you. And that's confidence in yourself right there. Again, confidence is they will like me. Confidence is I'll be fine if they don't. You can go ahead and do your business with or without their support. Sometimes you need support. Sometimes I need to learn to get that extra support and not just motor on without those who don't want to be a part of the show, which I can do just fine. But sometimes I need to slow down, downshift, and then shake some hands, kiss some babies, and make sure, and then gather their support that way. But fans, I want to thank you guys for tuning into the Voice of the Fans podcast this week. Went over some time, had some technical issues, but I want to also thank the guys from Culture Flicks TV, Brion, Bill Ellaby, Uriel. Thank you guys for helping me get this set up today. Thanks for allowing me to be part of the Culture Flicks team. Excuse me. And I appreciate that. We're going to be doing some big things together. Me and Bill got some ideas that we're going to bounce off each other. But I want to thank you guys. Make sure you download the app. If you didn't see the barcode, it'll be up there again. Download the app so you can view this. You have 3 ways now to view the show. Well, multiple ways to view the show. But the way we air it is on StreamYard, YouTube TV, Cameron, Voice of the Fans on YouTube, HMB Media TV on YouTube, and now the Culture Flicks app. So we want to thank you guys for tuning in and appreciate those guys for allowing this show to be on the Culture Flicks app. And fans, we'll see you guys next week, maybe a little bit better without the technical difficulties at the beginning of the show. As always, fans, thank you for making my voice your choice, and I'll holler at y'all soon.